Well, Brenton, you signed up for some fun. Ring of Fire, you know, it was started so long ago. Farron and I have been doing Ring of Fire, I think, for 25 years. And it's kind of time that we bring some new faces in. You were chosen to be that new face, so we're going to be talking about articles. But Brenton, you're one of our most talented young trial lawyers in the law firm. So I think this is going to be a perfect fit for you. So let's go into some stories. Brenton, the problem that I'm seeing with the discussion on the 14th Amendment is everybody knows we have a 14th Amendment. If they made it through high school, they know we have something called the 14th Amendment. But they're not understanding how the whole birthright issue ties into that. Break it down. Explain why this is such a controversy.
Sure. So the 14th Amendment was actually one of the Civil War amendments. We call it that because after the Civil War, the legislature tried to make sure that states and private individuals couldn't take away rights and liberties like they did before the Civil War, right? Like against enslaved individuals.
No, they were creating sandbags, walls, to where some tyrant doesn't come in and say, we're going to do the same thing again.
That's right.
Was that important?
That's right. And so one of the main one of the main reasons why they decided they needed something like this was actually what's called the Dred Scott case.
Right.
And in it, it was about an enslaved individual that was sold into slavery and then brought to a freed state where they didn't allow slavery. And he actually sued for the right to be free. And the court found that actually he was not a citizen because he was not born in the United States.
Right.
So the 14th Amendment gets created, and what it says is that in order to be a citizen, you have to be born in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction of the United States.
Right. Okay, so it gets weird though, doesn't it? I mean, when you hear, you hear, what's this guy talking about? He's on television, he's saying the 14th Amendment doesn't have application here. Yes, we can do away with the birthright of immigrants in the United States. There's interpretation here, right?
Right. Yeah, everything is a matter of interpretation when it comes to the constitutional law. So the main way that we interpret the law is through the Supreme Court. And there's one case called Wong Kim Ark, which
pretty important case. It's
pretty important
what we call a pivotal case.
That's correct. That's correct. It is a pivotal case in which the court basically said, when looking back at history and when looking at how our law has been presented, we look at citizenship as how it is applied when individuals are born in the territory of the United States. But as part of that, they indicated that that was for individuals that were permitted in the United States.
Right.
So a lot of the argument that Trump and his supporters are making right now is that we should allow people who are born in the United States to be citizens, but not those who are not permitted.
In other words, the obstacle is you're here illegally. You're here illegally, you broke the law, you can't come over here and have babies and say now you're a U.S. citizen. But the point that you're raising, I think, is what everybody misses. You have these extremes in the law, just like you have extremes in politics. You've got, for example, the Federalist Society. Federalist Society says every word in the Constitution should be taken just as it's spoken. There's no room. You can't move around and interpret, right?
Correct.
Then you got the other extreme that says, the Constitution is there, but it's a growing document. We have the Constitution so we can adjust according to the times. Isn't that where we are with this?
It is. And it's funny because individuals that would normally be originalists are kind of saying, we don't want that originalist idea. Because really, if you're in the United States, if we want to arrest you, you're subject to our jurisdiction. So if you're born here and we can arrest you, you're subject to our jurisdiction. So by the letter of the Constitution, the letter of the law, you would think, okay, then even children of illegal aliens would be citizens. But those who normally would say we shouldn't listen to the letter of the law now are stuck with this argument, which is saying, well, the law is ever changing. The constitutional can evolve and it can breathe. And so you have your individuals who say, we can interpret what subject to the jurisdiction means. And to us, that means people that are here illegally should not be able to have children that are citizens.
That's always the distinction between what I call the activist, creative judge and the judge who says, by God, this is the way the Constitution's written, this is the original interpretation, and this is what we're going to stick. So this is what this case is going to come down to. I mean, if it goes to the Supremes, we're going to see how do they look at this. Do we have a growing Constitution that allows us to grow with times and adjust with times? Was that pivotal decision that was reached long ago. Is that something that we're going to have to stick to, or was that just a sign of the times back then?
That's absolutely right.
Interesting way this is going to develop.